All right, I want to welcome on my next guest. We've got Super Bowl champion, four-time first-team All-Pro, four-time Pro Bowler, LeRoy Butler. LeRoy, how's everything going?
Doing good, Zach. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good. I'm getting very nervous about football season.
Really?
Yes.
Don't be nervous. They're going to play.
I think they're going to play.
Yeah.
Whether they finish is what I'm concerned about.
Well, I mean, you can almost look at the model from Major League Baseball. They had some outbreaks during the season.
I know.
But people got to understand football is king.
Yeah.
So it would take maybe like 125, maybe 140 guys to get infected for them to shut it down because the rosters are a little bit more expanded. And then it really, to be honest with the NFL, with fantasy football, it depends on who it is.
Yeah.
If it's like 6 starting quarterbacks in COVID-19, they'll probably consider maybe doing something at that point.
Yeah, no, because I know I was looking at your tweets and you had something that I had kind of thought of with the having everybody in hotels.
Yes.
I think that would work, and honestly, you can add to it. I think there's the issue that I want to see my family, which is very understandable. You don't want to not see your family for 5 months. Have the families come in. You book the whole hotel. First floor is math. Second floor is Spanish. Third floor is arts and crafts. And then you have the rooms. That way they can go to school and they can chill. They got a pool. They got some of them got like arcades. They can have pay-per-view, free pay-per-view. Everybody wins.
I think it'd be a great idea if you don't have a bubble like the NBA.
They need to have a bubble. They need to have one.
They would never do that. And WNBA had 0 cases.
I know.
They're in kind of a bubble.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a bubble, you got to create one.
Yeah.
And I think the NFL 3-4 months ago should have purchased, because these hotels and restaurants were
They
struggling.
waited too long. They didn't do anything.
Yes, exactly. They should have did it a long time ago, bought up a couple hotels. Now the hotel makes money, the restaurants make money.
Yep.
Now you can put your guys there in quarantine. You know where they are.
Yes.
Because trusting these guys to go home is going to be like Major League Baseball.
See, I'm not concerned about the guys at all. I think they're all like there's gonna be a couple guys in every team that are going to hold everybody accountable. I'm not concerned about the guys. What I'm concerned about is they're testing the guys. They're testing all the employees. They're not testing their families. They're not testing the people they're around. And you, especially if kids are going back to school, which I think is crazy. You don't know if the one kid maybe one time his mask isn't all the way up. He gets it, brings it in, somebody gets infected, the whole team gets infected. You can't predict that unless you're testing everyone.
And see, that's the thing about it is they were going to do this, and I think they're still exploring this pool testing. Now, remember, most of the guys don't live in Green Bay in the offseason. They just don't. Maybe.
Why not? Why not? It's the beaches.
If you're from Florida,
it's like Sandals. It's like Sandals, Jamaica, right? It's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So you're gonna stay there. And for me, for example, I would move my family up like in August if it wasn't a pandemic. But now the families can either stay home for 3 or 4 months. It's a commitment, and it's during a pandemic, so things are gonna be different. Yeah. Or you can move your family here and they'll stay in the hotel during the season. That way I can test them. And I think everybody in America should be able to get the testing for 15 minutes. Yes. Whether it's true or not, just a volume of it. I'm going to get tested, same as my family, but that's on with. Now, the single guys, you may get the Lou Williams of the world to do that. And that's where
Lemon Pepper Lou's getting a message. Best nickname in the NBA by far.
Yes. So, listen, the single guys got to buy into what it feels like to be married. Yeah. You go home to your family and you just relax. Otherwise, just opt out. And I applaud anybody like Lorenzo Cain, because I'm in Milwaukee. He opted out, gave up like $6 million. I applaud that. Yeah. But the guys who are going to be there, be committed for MLB next 47 games. And NFL, you got, 3-4 months. After that, you can do whatever you want. So everybody has to buy in.
If you were playing in the NFL now with everything going on, would you give any consideration to opting out, or would you play?
Well, I would do what most guys should do: contact tracing your family, find out who has high blood pressure, who has heart disease, who has any kind of problems. Then they wouldn't be able to come. No. And I have a conversation with my wife, and then we will make that decision. But I would probably play. Yeah. Because the safest place you could be is at the facility, to be honest with you, because they're going to test you, they're going to feed you, they're going to do everything you want to do. I would feel safe enough to play. The NFL has done a good job with that, but it's just, the contact tracing and the knowing where these guys are is going to be kind of a head scratcher. And I'm not into these, against guys' liberties, because they got these tracking devices and all that. Listen, I'm a grown man. I follow rules.
Yes.
If they say put on a seatbelt, I do that.
Yes.
If they say don't text and drive, I do that.
Yep.
Whatever the rules are that we agreed to, I'm going to do that, and that'll keep me safe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to ask you a little bit about your early career. So I just had this thing there. So I saw this which kind of threw me off. Is it true you spent the majority of your childhood in a wheelchair with leg braces on?
Yeah, I used to have the same leg braces as Forrest Gump.
Did they make that movie based off your life?
They should have. Tom Hanks owed me a lot of money.
They some royalties every time that thing comes on TNT. Hey, that's $650. Come on, man.
Yeah. So, my life was rough growing up in the inner city, one of the poorest kids, in my mind, one of the poorest kids ever. But I told my mom I wanted to play in the NFL. And I had these braces on. I had to sit in a wheelchair, I had to have crutches. So kids were mean to me going to school, but it didn't bother me because I knew what I wanted to be when I grew up.
And so how did you kind of I saw that you kind of just figured out it said you were the fastest kid in the neighborhood. How did you kind of grow out of the braces?
Well, what happened was my sister, because she's the oldest, she's basically the babysitter. And my mom would work 3 jobs. I mean, that's the real hero right there with no cape. Yeah. And one day she was getting ready for the prom, and she just kind of came downstairs, and I was sitting there in the wheelchair, and she knocked me out of the wheelchair by mistake. And my braces, they break. And when they break, I stood up, and I'm kind of it was new to me.
Yeah.
It was hard to just move around without assistance of crutches or somebody. Because she used to help me go up and down the stairs. She used to carry me.
I thought you were going to say they broke, and you're going to be like, wait a minute, I could have done this the whole time.
I know. When my mom we went back to the Children's Hospital in Jacksonville, Florida. They said, he pretty much grew out of it. But I was extremely pigeon-toed. My feet were like this.
Oh, wow.
Like this.
Yeah.
So when the braces broke, they said, well, we'll put you in these little corrective shoes, and if you've been an 8, 9-year-old kid, you're going to get picked on if you got these corrective shoes. But I was okay with it. Yeah. And then for some reason, God gave me the ability to compete with whoever I'm around. If I was racing one of the fastest guys, I try to keep up with them.
That's awesome.
If I was running with a bunch of guys and they weren't running fast, I would keep up with them. So I learned to adapt to my surroundings. And that's what made me faster. Because I remember my head coach at high school coming to my classroom, wanted me to run track. And I'm like, dude, I'm no track star. He said, I just want you to just keep running. For some reason, you compete. You like to compete, and you run as fast as the next guy. And I did pretty well at it.
Oh,
so
cool.
I really think that God gave me the ability to sit in that wheelchair to understand that it was going to be a delay. I was in special education. Wow. I couldn't read. Again, it was just tough on me. I used to ride on the bus, just me and the driver.
Damn.
All of these negative things, but I had my blinders on. I didn't even know the kids were bullying me and picking on me because I ignored them. But every negative thing you could think of for a kid, I went through it, but I had the same smile. Yeah. Because I knew how my story was going to end, and that was going to end in the NFL.
I have a question. If you're the only kid on the school bus, how long will they wait for you outside your house before they leave?
Oh, no, they know your times. They know your mom's times. All she goes to just blow the horn. Here I come. Yeah. So it was a couple of times it was a delay because my sister was tying my shoes. My sister was tying my shoes, and the bus is out there. She didn't blow but once, and she just waited.
That's wild.
Waited. She know I'm showing up because she know I love school.
Because if not, she just gets to go home. So she's
right.
She's like, I got one stop today. If he doesn't come, I'm out of here. And I have a question. So I was looking at your high school. Is it true it's called Robert E. Lee High School? Are they changing that?
Yeah. No, that's a good question. When we first went there, I remember I was going to a school called Terry Parker High School. So I'm 9th grade going into the 10th grade. I'm practicing spring football with this high school. My mom gets a letter, and she's reading this letter like, uh-oh. I said, what? She said, based on your last name, you got to go to another school. I said, well, what school is that? And she said, Robert E. Lee. I said, I don't want to go to that school, man. The people, they're going to be racist. She said, no, be a leader. not a follow. Because I'm from the South.
Yeah.
Okay, so what Bubba Watson went through, Bubba Wallace went through, I went through that every day. So it didn't bother me, but I had some reservations. So now I just say Lee High School.
See, I like that. That's better. See, the thing is, they could change it and keep Lee. You could go Bruce Lee High School, Jet Lee High School. Who else? Marquise Lee High School. A lot of options. David Lee. Yeah. David Lee could be like the principal. You could figure that shit out.
It was rough. It was rough because the kids, especially history class, you find out what this guy did with the Confederate. And I used to see Confederate flags all the time.
Really?
All the time. I mean, this is the South. I mean, people were proud of that, man. It was rough growing up in that particular school. But we were so good in football, Zach, that the other schools gave us a pass.
Wow.
We were so good. We dominated Jacksonville, Florida.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, people never brought up, they just say Lee High School.
That's why they got to change that.
People
are like, hey, we're not in school now, but like once fall comes around, like, this has got to go. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, people your age are the ones that are gonna change it.
Yeah, because
my age, we're too stubborn, stuck in our ways, and we don't know how to do it.
Yeah, no, because you're like, wait a minute, you're learning about this guy. You're like, he did what?
Right.
Why is his name on the door?
Stay a slave.
Why is his name on the door? What's going on with it?
I don't get it.
It's wild. It's wild. So how did you end up at Florida State? What was that process like?
Well, what happened was I was a consensus All-American at Lee High School. So I told my mom, I said, how many people in our family has ever gone to college? She said, nobody. I said, no, Mom, the family tree. It's like a tree full of names.
Yeah.
She said, nobody.
Wow.
So I'm thinking, I was a consensus All-American, the first at the school, history. I was on the top, the all-century team, like 33 players. I was like headlines. But another piece of adversity, I was a Proposition 48. That meant that I couldn't play my freshman year because I didn't pass the SAT test.
Are you kidding?
Yes. So all those letters I was getting from all those schools, they all wrote letters saying, we can't offer you. Coach Bobby Bowden, not only did he want me to come, he came to the projects to tell my mom he was giving me a scholarship.
That's wild.
I'll never forget it. I'm thinking, my life's over. I mean, if I can't go to college, I can't go to the NFL.
Yeah.
But again, God is good. And Coach Bowden showed up with, he got that garnet and gold. It's not maroon, it's garnet and gold. He get out of this nice Buick. He comes up the stairs and he says, Miss Butler, I got to get him out of the inner city. I need to give him a scholarship. She said, but I thought the schools couldn't give him one. He said, no, we can give 6 guys a scholarship. You just can't play your freshman year, but he can come to school and learn his freshman year. He just won't play football.
Yeah.
And it worked out great. So I'll never forget, I owe a lot to Florida State University. I really do.
Were you there? Were you there when Prime was there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What was he like in college?
I tell people all the time, I get into arguments at the barbershop when they say who's the best athlete of all time. It's Deion Sanders. I've gone to where he qualifies for the 100, 200, and 4x100 for the Olympics.
Yeah.
And then he hits a home run in baseball, and then he returns a punt for a touchdown. The guy was truly amazing. Yeah. The one thing about Deion, he taught all of us, me and Terrell Buckley, Martin Mayhew, all of us, branding is everything.
Yeah.
Think about your brand.
Yeah.
So that means don't get in trouble off the field, which he's never done it.
Nope.
And he also wanted you to be a Christian and be close to the Lord.
Interesting.
You're playing a game that you could lose your life.
Yeah.
So we joined the Fellowship of Christian Athletes because of Coach Bobby Bowden chose me, and me and Deion thought it'd be a cool way to express how much you're saved. And God is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
It's a cool thing.
Yeah.
And so Deion was great, man. But more than anything, he just loved his teammates. He really did. He loved his teammates.
I was listening to an interview he was on, Pardon My Take, a couple weeks ago, and the one guy was trying to kind of mess with him, and he was trying to find a game where he missed a tackle or couldn't tackle, and one of them he was like I think he said it was like the Super Bowl, and he said no, that doesn't count, and then he found another one, I guess when you guys were playing Auburn, and I guess he couldn't bring down Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
And he said, man, nobody could. He said, man, this dude was created by the hand of God. Nobody's bringing him down. And I lost it. I thought it was fantastic. That's awesome.
We used to tell Deion, we didn't want you to come here to tackle. That's my job. I'm a safety. Go shut down their best receiver and return punts for touchdowns. And that's why I believe he's the best corner to ever play. And I know people are going to see this and say, well, you're biased. Well, look at the record, man. The guy is true. And he's a great person.
Yeah.
See, you can have all of that, but a bad person inside.
Yeah.
Deion platinum on the inside and outside. I just love it. He's truly amazing.
Do you think if he tried out for a team today, he could make it?
Well, he got too much. He got a hip going on. He got 2 knees going on.
He could play for Washington. Washington. You see Washington secondary? He can start tomorrow.
I tell you what. I told him this. I said, when you eventually pass away in the next 200 years, you need to donate your body and your brain to science. Yeah. Because the guy literally is a great businessman. Yeah. He's a great dad.
He's everything. He could do anything he wanted. He could do anything.
He was really one of the few people that, God put that sword on both shoulders and say, okay, you're special, go.
God gave him 99s across the board.
Yep, you are good. But the thing about him, and we used to have this conversation, power is dangerous if you don't use it the right way. Yeah. He uses his power the right way.
Yeah. So I have a question. I want to ask you, what was the Puntrooski like? What was that like?
Well, the Puntrooski. Now, most people up north, I'd say from Kentucky up, ask me about the Lambeau Leap. People from Kentucky down the south ask about the Puntrooski.
Really? It's interesting.
Okay. That was a big deal. That was one of the best. I remember during the week of Florida State, we had a coach came in, Coach Bowden said, hey, we got a fake punt. And I want you to do it. I said, well, I'm not a punter. He said, no, you're the up back, because I was always on the punt team. Yeah. I was the up back. And this was my junior year. I said, okay, great. So we were going to use it against Florida because we played them at the end of the year. So we're playing Clemson, their top 5 team. We're like a top 6 team or whatever. We're in Clemson. And Burt Reynolds, bless him, R.I.P., he bought us these all-white uniforms.
Burt Reynolds?
Burt Reynolds.
Damn.
And also shout out to Burt Reynolds because we had this old tore up dorm. He got rid of that and made Burt Reynolds Hall.
I never knew. Did he go there? Did he go to Florida State?
Yeah.
I never knew.
He played football for Florida State. Yes. Yeah. We love Burt.
So did you like him in longest yard? Not the first one. I know he was the first. The second one, he made a big play that people don't talk about.
Oh, that's the guy. Yeah. He was the coolest guy.
That's awesome.
In Hollywood. I love him. And again, bless his family. Yeah. But I remember in that game, Zach, we were losing, and it was 4th down and 26 or something, whatever it was, and we was on our own 20-yard line or whatever it was. And I remember Coach Bowden said, run that play as I'm running on the field. So I tell all the guys we're going to run it. And so it was wet. It was raining. Yeah. So if I slip and fall, I'm the GOAT, but not greatest of all time. The other GOAT. So I go in, I tell everybody, it works to perfection. We do a fake punt. The guy, Dane Williams, put it between my legs. I sit there, and then I see this guy corner my eye from Clemson. I think his name was Jerome Henderson. He saw me. So I take off running. I said, all I want to do is get the first down. And I'm running. I wasn't like Deion Sanders speed. But I got to like the 50-yard line. I said, oh, this is awesome. And you can see the stadium just – because this was at Clemson.
Yeah.
They are shocked. They don't know where the ball is. Next thing you know, you see me running down, and then Donnell Wolford, he was the punt return guy. He was like, where's the ball? All of a sudden, he sees me running. He runs over. He knocks me out of bounds like at the 3-yard line. One of my best friends, Richie Andrews, kicks the winning field goal.
That's awesome.
And we win.
Did you keep the ball?
Huh?
Did you keep the ball?
Oh, of course.
All right, good.
You know what? That's a good question because in NCAA, they don't let you keep it.
Really?
Nope.
You can't even have footballs? You can't even
you know how they have all the rules.
I know, but footballs? Come on.
I'll be ineligible for keeping a ball.
They're making these college football players $1 billion. No, that's our ball. Sorry.
They give everything back. They keep it for themselves. Of course, they want to get that ball and do something with it.
Have they been asking you for it? Because they want to put it like in a case?
One of the interns, a good friend of mine was in my algebra class. He got it for me.
Oh, cool.
He gave him another ball. He gave him another ball. But it was like, I just never forget it. And that put me on a national stage. And Beano Cook, he was one of the famous writers. He said that was the best play since My Fair Lady.
Wow.
When he said that, it was headlines.
That's awesome.
Everywhere.
That's wild.
And that put me on the map.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what was your draft process like after that?
Oh man. Okay. Now this is my childhood dream. So this is a very emotional time. So I'm in the inner city. And I remember talking to Dick Geron. He's the defensive back coach at Florida, at Green Bay.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know where you're going to be. I don't know if we're going to draft you, but I just know I like your skills. So I'm thinking it was 4 teams that may draft me. Yeah. But at the time, Zach, I was a huge, all caps, huge Cowboy fan. Okay?
Really?
I wanted to go to the Cowboys. I mean, I could name off 75 Cowboys back then. I just wanted to play in that stadium. But I remember my uncle was sitting up like in the front room, but he had a Walter Payton jersey on. He said, I want you to go anywhere but the Packers. Anywhere. Just don't go to the Packers. I said, hey, I have no control over this. We had rotary phones too, so it wasn't like nothing we were doing today. And I just remember that phone rang. And when that phone rang, it changed my life. It really did. It was Lee Rimmel from the Green Bay Packers. I said, oh my God, this is amazing. This is my dream. I was too shocked to even, it's almost like having a lottery ticket and they've called the numbers and you're still like, no. It's almost like playing bingo and everybody's like, somebody has it, but we don't know who it is. And you're shocked. And then the head coach, Lindy Infante, gets on Zach, and he said, we're going to draft you. Wait, hold on. I said, what's going on? He said, well, okay, we may draft you with the 48th pick in the second round. So I'm like, what's it? He said, okay. He said, before we do that, do you have any questions before we turn the card in? I said, yes. Where's Green Bay? He laughed. He was dying laughing. He said, okay, we're going to select you. So my family sees my name. LeRoy Butler, Green Bay. We're jumping up and down, no air conditioning. It was like 80 people cramped in a small apartment. It changed my life.
That's
it really
awesome.
did. And the first thing popped in my head was I got to buy my mom a house and get her out the projects.
Yeah. That's awesome. What was that weather change like going from Jacksonville to Green Bay?
We're on the plane, May 2nd, I think. I'm with my girlfriend. Yeah. We're on the plane. When we left Florida, it was 87 degrees. I have on some shorts and just a Florida State shirt. Yeah. So does she. So we're flying up, and then the pilot comes on. It's a beautiful day in Green Bay. The wind is coming from the north. It's a beautiful 17 degrees. My girl head turned around like the exorcist before she spit that green stuff out. She said, did he just say? I said, no. The pilot is from the south. He said 77. Because I ain't never been to Wisconsin. I couldn't even point it out on a map. I don't know nothing about no Wisconsin. Some guy, Jack, gets up and his wife, takes off his Packer jacket and gives me his jacket, and his wife gave my girlfriend hers. I said, wait a minute, sir. He said, no, you're the second round pick, LeRoy Butler. You need this jacket because it's cold.
That's wild.
I said, how in the hell is it that cold in May? He said, hey, it's a cold front. I asked her, what's a cold front? She said, I don't know. I had no idea. The coldest it was in Jacksonville, maybe 40s. But when I got to God's country in Green Bay, these fans were amazing.
What was your first experience like going to Lambeau Field? Because I feel like it's just like, even there's no game on, it's a landmark.
It's a historical site.
Yeah.
When I first landed, it was 1,500 people there. I said, do these people have jobs? It was like a Wednesday at 2:00. I mean, everybody got on green and gold. I'm going through the gauntlet, shaking hands. And like I said, I'm assuming every team is like this. So I'm like, this is amazing. There was a young lady, a 90-year-old young lady. She's walking the inside of the gauntlet. You know, she's walking inside of it. And she comes over to me, and she has her cane. She says, you must never lose to the Minnesota Vikings. I said, whoa, what? Okay, I mean, all right. And the next team, she took her cane and put it right over my heart. And you better not lose to the Bears. I was like, man, this is intense. So she started to leave. I said, man, wait a minute. What about the Detroit Lions and Tampa Bay? She turned around. She said, you won't have any problem with those two teams. You're good. When I got over to Lambeau Field and I saw Bart Starr's picture, I said, God, if this is heaven, I don't want to go nowhere else. Bart Starr, I mean, even if you weren't a Packer fan, you knew about Bart Starr. Number 15. And then I saw Ray Nitschke, and then I saw all the stuff, and then the kids riding bikes because I was a 3-day holdout.
Yeah.
When I finally got there in the summer.
Those 1,500 people waited for you for 3 days?
No. That was when you go in and do all the media stuff. But when you went back for the mini camp, it was like, you know, this is amazing. Yeah. I didn't know you ride the kids' bikes to camp. That's wild. So when I got there, I'm like, this is amazing. And people were like walking around and I'm like, everybody loves the Packers. And then I know the history of it, not having an owner. You know, I'm like, I see some 36 jerseys. When I first saw it, there's two things impactful to me as a rookie. Yeah. I saw a guy with my jersey, and I saw a kid come up to me and want me to sign my football card. I was shocked. I was like, that's my card. I just want to give it. I want to buy it from the kid. The kid's like, no, they have tons of them. You don't have to get it. I said, can I have that? He's like, we got a whole stack of them. So my first card, my first autograph is to myself. I signed the card, and he saw me so enamored when he just gave it to me, and things just changed. And the fans are just great.
I thought you were going to say that old woman, she was going to be like, hey, by the way, I'm on the practice squad.
It seems like that because I'm going to tell you something. It's like if the Packers lose, the state shuts down. When they win, everybody rich. And then your neighbors, everybody love you. That's why I played it for 12 years. I love it here.
What was Reggie White like when you first met him?
Reggie was very impactful because he was the first free agent to sue the NFL and win.
Interesting.
So I saw Reggie. He was at a function with the coaches, and I'm thinking, why is Reggie White here? Didn't he sign with San Francisco? They said, no, I think he's signing here. I'm like, he's doing a physical, but I didn't know he was getting a physical. Yeah. I said, that's Reggie White. I'm going to go over to him. So I went over there. He was the nicest guy. And he just said, hey, I want to win a Super Bowl. I got so much adrenaline in my body when he said that because I knew he got there in 93, 91, and 92, we were a losing culture. So how are we going to win a Super Bowl? And he had this whole thought process of how he was going to do it. And if it wasn't for him, I don't think I would have a Super Bowl ring. Wow. But it did change when we got him, and then we got Brett Favre, man. Zach, I'm telling you, you can just feel the spirit when you see number 4 and number 92 getting dressed. Things change. Everything changed. You just start to expect to win. Yeah. And things just kind of went off from there.
That's wild. Is Reggie, in your opinion, the greatest defensive player of all time?
I don't think you'll ever see a player take over a game like Reggie.
Who do you think is the closest we've seen to him since him?
I guess you could say J.J. Watt, Michael Strahan was, man, Strahan, you can put 4 people on, he gonna get a sack. I mean, so like a combination of those 2 people. I mean, Charles Haley. I mean, people that when they look up at the clock and it's the 4th, you see your best players, Zach, do good things in the first and fourth quarters.
Yep.
Anybody can take off in the second and third. But the first and fourth quarter is your top guys. And that was Reggie White.
That's wild.
Reggie White, man, I remember in the Super Bowl, the guy said, man, I'm tired of this. I said, what are you talking about? I'm just tired of this, because he wouldn't curse. I said, what are you talking about? I'm not getting to the quarterback. I said, don't be so hard on yourself, Reggie. You know I'm hard on myself. This is the Super Bowl. This is the reason why I came here. Got 2 sacks, boom, boom, and got a third. And he had this thought process. But I'm going to tell you the reason why it was so impactful real quick in a few seconds. When Reggie got there, he wanted everybody to go to Bible study. And that Friday, we had Bible study. It was like 4 guys out of 83 guys there.
You probably lost
it. He was disappointed. I said, Reggie, you got to understand something. These guys think that you're like the Pope. You got to go out and hang out with them. Every Thursday we go out. I don't drink or smoke, but every Thursday guys go drink to the bar. It was called The Bar. You play volleyball, eat wings. I went because I want to be with my teammates, although I didn't drink. I drank Shirley Temples. So that following Thursday, here come Reggie. Because I'm the only oddball there because I'm the only one that didn't drink. I'm the only one in the whole bar that didn't drink.
In the whole state?
Probably. That's a good point. That's a good point, Zach. You're probably right. I mean, including teenagers, allegedly. So here comes Reggie. Reggie comes in, goes behind the bar, serve up a couple drinks, laugh and high five. And it got about 8:30 because you know he's gonna leave early though. He got to about 6. The following Friday, we had 81 guys at Bible study. The other 2 guys that didn't make it, they were on IR. So they were injured.
I thought you were going to say they were a synagogue.
No. But it changed the complexion of our team. That's because wild. Everybody, when you swipe the key card, it turns green. It's about the team. If you swipe it, it turns red. Go see HR. It's a problem.
Yeah.
But we started to win. Because we trusted one another and we loved one another. And if we weren't in Bible study, and now some of the guys did open the Bible upside down, but at least they were there.
That's because I was watching the Dexter Manley Football Life a couple weeks ago, and they said that apparently he really didn't know how to read until way after his career, which is insane. And I think it was Theismann said apparently Dexter Manley had the last locker at the end of the row, so they would see him right as they were walking out of the locker room. And he said he's walking out one time and he sees him reading the Wall Street Journal. He's like, "What's going on here?" And he turns back around, he looks at it, and he had it upside down.
Yep.
I'm like,
I'm not surprised. Because guys just want to be there, but they weren't real like religious types.
That's wild.
But they wanted to be, and I'm like, this guy got the Bible upside. But he was there to listen to the message.
Yeah.
And that's what made us do like this. And we started to win.
That's wild. Whose work ethic were you more impressed by, Reggie's or Deion's?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say Deion because he had arrogance with it.
Yeah.
Like, I dare you to throw it at me. And I'm faster than everybody on your team, including your cars. Reggie was like a quiet giant, you know? But if you're going to have all that and be confident and live up to prime time, like, don't call me Deion Sanders. I'd call him Deion Sanders because I love his mom. His mom is amazing because she's just like my mom.
Yeah.
But people just call him prime. That's what, if you want to be the top guy, you got to think like that. You really do have the makeup to say that your podcast is going to be better than everybody else where you can get podcast. You have to think like that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll think like the guy that's at the bottom.
Yeah.
So Deion, even when it was something bad happened, he was spinning like, hey, Deion Sanders. And now you're concentrating back on Deion Sanders instead of the bad play. So the guy's truly brilliant. And I think because your teammates, The reason why that's a good question, because your teammates watch how you do things, how you lift weights, how you run, how you eat, how you even talk to your wife, how you talk to your kids, how you talk to your girlfriend. Now what do you say on social media?
Yeah.
They watch everything, watch your makeup. Are you truly being a leader off the field? Yeah. And that's the difference between Reggie White, vocal leader. Deion is a leader by example.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes that can be the toughest one.
I got a funny story. If I ever get the chance to meet him, I'm going to tell him this. So I'll never forget this. I was in junior year in high school biology class, and there's one kid in class never answered a question. The kid was always joking around, never did anything, never answered a question. So the teacher's asking us about the elements. I'll never forget this. And she says, does anybody know anything about neon? And this kid's hand was the first one that shot up. I'm like, what's he doing about this? And I'm looking, and then he answers, and she said, yes. And he goes, the only neon I know is neon Deion Sanders. And we lost.
Oh, wow.
That's the only time he raised his hand the entire year. And he was dead serious, too. And I'm like, hey.
Branding is everything.
It is. Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. So how did the Lambeau Leap come to life?
Well, 1993, I'm from Florida, as you know.
Yeah.
I go over to the locker room, and I'm checking the thermostat. Like, what? It's like a minus next to a 17. I'm like, hey, guys, is this thing broken or what? They said, no, man, what are you talking about? I said, well, do they forfeit the game? And do we go home with our parents and eat orange slices and Capri Suns?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, no, you got to go play. And they gave us some stuff to keep us warm. And I remember they gave us some pantyhose. I said, guys, what are these pantyhose for? For our wives or what? No, son, put them on to keep you warm. So we're putting these things on, and everybody's like walking down. I see Reggie White, 6'5", 300 pounds, and pantyhose. Oh, man. Hey, come on, Reggie. I said, man, you got a run in yours. He said, what? I said, you got to, never mind. It was just funny because we're playing the Raiders. If I'm cold, I know they're freezing.
Yeah.
So we get into the game, and I cause a fumble. And Zach, when I caused a fumble, out of my peripheral vision, I saw the ball, but I don't know where it went. The field is frozen. So the ball is like shooting everywhere, and I'm looking around, and I remember Coach Holmgren saying, if you ever get a fumble, never lateral it. Bad things happen.
I do that in Madden all the time. I always lose it. Every time in Madden, I always lose it.
Dude, I saw Reggie. Reggie has it. He's running, and a guy's grabbing him. So I run over there, and I see Tony Bennett, not the singer, it's people's linebacker.
Yeah.
That was a joke.
If the singer was in it, that'd be interesting, too.
Well, you're funny. So I see Tony. So Tony's trying to go, but Tony falls because, again, it's slippery. So Bryce Pop is he falls. By the grace of God, I keep my feet. I run towards Reggie, and we call eye contact. And when I saw Reggie, he looked like he was going to pitch it. So this is all spontaneous. Yeah. So I'm running, and he caught me in stride. As soon as he was falling, he laterals me the ball, and I get this ball. And I'm running down, just like the Puntrooski in Clemson. I'm running down the sideline. I'm thinking, I want to do something cool. I'm running, and our stadium is huge, but when you're inside of it, it's actually small. The fans are right on top of you. I mean, you could just go up and say hi to them or whatever, and you could talk to them. I used to do it before games. I run up to this guy. I said, I'm going to jump in the stands. So I throw the ball down. I get ready to jump, but the guy had a beer in his hand. He was not expecting this. So when I jumped up there, he was like, he threw the beer away. He called me. He said, you owe me a beer. I'll never forget that. Then the other fans are like really going. We were winning, I think, 21-0. Yeah. So the game was a blowout, but the fans were still in the stadium. And that was the loudest I've ever heard it. So I get down, I get the ball, I go to the sideline. And everybody congratulating Reggie. If you look at it on YouTube, you'll see Brett Favre come out there and Doug Evans. We're doing these weird dances. And then I sit there, and Coach Holmgren comes over to me. He said, never do that again. I said, I didn't realize what the impact, what it was going to be.
Yeah.
I just know that Robert Brooks, our wide receiver, wrote a song called Jump in the Stands, I think the following year, and it blew up. It blew up. It blew up. I mean, it was huge. The song, people were downloading the song. People said, what should we name it? And matter of fact, Robert Brooks, because he's smarter than me, he's way smarter than office guys are way smarter. He trademarked Lambeau Leap so other teams wouldn't grab it.
Wow.
So he was smart. He was way ahead of the game. So shout out to Robert Brooks. If it wasn't for Robert Brooks, I don't know if it'll be famous. I really don't. It'll just go by. It'll just, another celebration. Like one of my favorite ones was the Icky Shuffle. I love that Icky Shuffle.
That Geico commercial was incredible.
Yes, that was awesome. Wasn't that nice? I love that. And I like T.O. with the popcorn, and I like Joe Horn, with the thing at the sock. I loved all that, but the leap, Zach, again,
it's different. It's just different. It's not. It's different. It's different. It's like you can only do.
It's the reason why it's a good question also because it'll be the first year they're not going to do it because of COVID-19.
Well, they could do it. You might just fall in the stands. Nobody's catching
you. You may hurt yourself.
Yeah.
But it's all incorporated with the fans.
Yeah.
You have to have the fans. The fans give you an opportunity to high five them, and in any other sport, the fans can interact with the players.
Yeah.
And I remember Donald Driver, he used to jump and just turn and sit on the wall. Amon Green, some of my best ones, Aaron Rodgers, Brad, everybody has done it.
Yeah.
And the good thing about the leap, when they're doing it, they're scoring points and they're winning games.
Yeah.
So it'll be the first year, but I said in 2021, they'll just do two guys will do it to make up from last year, which is 2020. But that's basically about the leap, and it was for the fans. The fans are great. We're owned by the fans. We have stock certificates for the fans. So it's only right that fans have to be a part of it.
Did you keep that ball too?
Oh, no question about that.
I just want to make sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's wild. Do you know off the top of your head how many guys have done it since you?
Oh no, I don't know.
If you had to guess, what do you think? A couple hundred?
Oh, at least I'll say since '93.
Probably more.
Oh man, maybe. Including preseason.
Oh damn! Yeah,
500, 600, 700, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's wild.
Maybe more than that because pretty much every home touchdown.
Yeah.
Unless it was a bigger guy, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I have to go back and look at that. That's a good question.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I just know the fans look forward to it because they walk around town.
Yeah.
Hey, I caught Jordy Nelson. Hey, I high five Edgar Bennett. This is cool. The worst one was Gabe Wilkins. He's a defensive end. He scored. He picked up a fumble and scored. They used to have these nets. They pull up so the ball don't go in the stands.
Yeah.
When the field goal kicker kicks it, and he scored. He's all excited, and he went to just do the leap. And he got tangled up in the net, and it looked like wicked tuna. It's like a tuna caught all of. And then once they got him out of the net, the field goal team is out there. Then he goes to try to do it. It was like too late. The referee's like, dude, that was 10 minutes ago. That was probably the worst one, but it was so funny.
I thought you were going to say he was stuck in the net and they couldn't get him out, so they just kicked the field goal with him stuck in the net.
They should have.
With him just foot like this.
They should have did that.
That's
probably the worst one.
And then you brought up Jordy Nelson. Anytime I think of Jordy Nelson, I think of those great some of the recent Packers teams with Greg Jennings. Yeah. When was the first time you saw that video? The Greg Jennings video. The Madden Greg Jennings.
Well, the good thing about knowing people, they to get out ahead of something, guys send you stuff so you can see it.
Yeah.
Like view this before it goes viral.
Yeah.
And the good thing, the Packers, and I'm glad you brought up Greg Jennings because I want to transition. I want Packer Nation to be nicer to him.
Oh, really? I thought he's like
a legend. Well, the only reason why I say that because he said some things that they didn't agree with him and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they've kicked him out the family. But Greg Jennings was a great player. He went to Minnesota, but Brett went to Minnesota. We still welcomed him back. So I'm glad you brought up Greg Jennings. I appreciate that. Greg Jennings was a great player for the Packers, won a Super Bowl. I mean, the guy was truly amazing, and I want him to be a part of the Packer family.
I remember right after it happened, George Lopez had that show, and I thought it was phenomenal. They canceled it, and he went on the show.
Yep.
And then he recreated. He was like, Greg Jennings. Because it's honestly one of the best videos of all time. And
I would agree.
It's he goes, Greg Jennings goes, what you don't remember is in the first quarter he broke his leg, and I'm like, what Madden is this? So no, but that's interesting. And then to talk in the Super Bowl, how did that culminate? Did you guys have a feeling that year that it was something different?
You know what? The good thing about it, we were so arrogant. I remember Bob McGinn asking me, "Do you think you guys can go 19-0?" I said, "Yes." It was headlines everywhere. We were so good. We didn't get Desmond Howard, who was the Super Bowl MVP. I don't know if we even win that Super Bowl game. He took over the game. That whole year, Desmond Howard was the best return guy. We got Andre Rison. No team wanted him, thank God. So we had little pieces that we were just like lining up. If we needed a middle linebacker, George Kuntz, my best friend, he got hurt, middle linebacker. We went out and got Ron Cox, who played for the Bears. Put him in there, middle linebacker. We had the best special teams, best defense, best offense. We had everything, but every now and then, great teams need a little piece here or there. And that was the moment I said to myself, we got everything we need to win a Super Bowl.
That's wild. Was there any time during the year where you kind of lost your confidence? You're like, oh, this team's better than us?
Well, no, but I guess if you interview some of my teammates, they may say different, but I remember we played the Colts. They hadn't won a game. I think they were like 0-11. I think the quarterback was Paul Justin, and Marvin Harrison was the wide receiver. Wow. And they beat us like a drum. And we were favored to go to the Super Bowl. We had just lost to the Cowboys the year before in the championship game. And even after that game, you know, they say these games that bring you down on your high horse. We still was very confident. Yeah. But those are the kind of games you sit back and watch the film and say, okay, we got to get our mind right so our body can react. We didn't even watch the film. The coach never showed it to us. He said, I don't even want y'all to watch that. Let's move on to next week because this is a team we should have beat by 50 points, but they beat us at their place. Okay, nope, don't watch it and just move forward. That's the kind of guy Mike Holmgren was. He was a therapist. He was more than a coach. He was like a parent. He was everything, and that's the reason why we won.
I have a question. Was Sterling Sharp on that team?
Now, Sterling had left. Sterling broke a bone in his neck a few years before that. And Sterling, Ken Ruckers, and a few other guys around the early 90s had injuries that didn't get them a chance to go to that Super Bowl. So when Sterling hurt his neck, he had to retire. Boy, that would have been great if we would have had him. Yeah. I mean, he was one of the few guys, him and Herman Moore, when they got 100 catches, it meant something. Yeah. He had 100, and people know Brett was going to throw to him. Yeah. But he had over 100 catches. I never forget 1993, we're playing the Detroit Lions. Brett rolled to the left, stopped, and launched it all the way to the right to Sterling Sharp. And I said to myself, man, the losing culture is gone. But yeah, if Sterling could have played another 2 or 3 more years, he'd already be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Now, I reached out to him to see if he wanted to come on the podcast, and I was like, please respond. Please respond. I'm like, all right, he's not going to see it. And then I saw him read it and didn't respond. I was like, damn. I was like, all right. That's –
well, hit him back and tell him I recommended him to come on.
All right, definitely. I'll reach out again. He'll be like, all right, we can do that. No, yeah. Do you think he should still be in the Hall of Fame? Do you think eventually he will be?
I think he will be because I think they did some projections with a few guys. Terrell Davis was one person because he only played, I think, 7 or 8 years. Yeah. And they say, had he been healthy, he'd had this. So they projected him out. They could do the same thing with Sterling Sharp. Had he been there, he caught him 100 balls for the next 3 years, which would be 300 more catches. That puts him in elite companies, and he should be in the Hall of Fame.
That's wild. That's wild. And then to fast forward to the Super Bowl, did you have any jitters? Were you nervous? What was like that? What was that like?
No, I tell you what, I saw before the game, I saw the Blues Brothers. And I'm like, man. And then I saw Luther Vandross, the singer, he was going to do the national anthem. I saw all these famous people. I'm like, wow. And
Where was it? Where was it that year? Where was it?
Louisiana, at the Silverdome.
Oh,
I mean, not the Silverdome. Down at
in New Orleans?
Yeah, in New Orleans.
Oh, yeah, Mercedes events. Yeah, Superdome.
That was the biggest dome ever. I mean, that place was huge. It has all green and gold up. And I'm even thinking about it now, I'm getting goosebumps. And they said, man, this place is so big, you can land a plane in it. I'm like, we had the Super Bowl in Louisiana, and we're playing the Patriots. And we had 4 interns to make sure they didn't deflate the balls that week either.
They knew in advance. They knew in advance. They were doing it then. You knew. Come on.
We knew that Tom Brady and the Patriots were going to win all these Super Bowls, so they can handle it. But when we won that game, Zach, I saw Lombardi's name on the trophy. Everybody got emotional. It really was. It was very emotional. The night before, Fritz Sherman, our defensive coordinator's brother, had passed away. And I remember Mike Holmgren, he said, how can I motivate these guys? This is widely reported. We're sitting there the Saturday night before the game. I see a table with a white sheet over it. So I said, I hope this man ain't gonna get a dead body until he gonna kill us if we don't win or something, something weird like that. Nope. He pulls the sheet like he was Houdini. He said, that's the winner's share of the money if you win. What motivates people more than money? Nothing. That was so impactful. We were like, wow. So we went out and won the game. And I always thought about that. I said, man, do you remember he pulled that money? And we still talk about it to this day, over 25 years ago. And it was just something about that particular team that we knew we were going to win it. We had everything we needed. Even with some of the bad games, I talked about the Colts game, you feel like you were going to win. And mainly because number 4 and number 2 was getting dressed. So that was a big deal, big deal. And after 30 years now, I saw a sign when we beat Carolina in the championship game. I saw a sign say, 30 years of misery has ended. We're going to the Super Bowl. I said, 30 years? What is he talking about? I said, oh, they won the first 2 Super Bowls. It's been a drought ever since.
Wow.
Tickets are still sold out for 25 years. So the fan base supporting, but they need a Super Bowl.
They're going to have more fans at the games in Lambeau this year than Washington had last year. The Chargers, watch out for the Chargers. They're used to this. So now
I saw a lot of jokes out there about that too. Some teams are gonna be like, hey, it's a normal game to people here anywhere, but our fans, it's gonna hurt us. They're gonna try to get 10 to 12,000.
We'll see.
This is what they'll do. The first 2 games, no fans.
Yeah, I saw that.
Let's see how the COVID-19 is in the state. If it stays low, okay, we'll let 3,000 in. If it stays low, 5. And they'll try to get up to 12. That's their goal. If it gets up to 12 by November, and you got 2 or 3 or more home games, I can see 25, 30,000 people eventually. Not 80,000, no. But I can see up to 25,000 people, and you see the suites, the box suites.
Yeah.
Those people are different because those are their private suites.
Yeah.
They've probably been quarantining together. They'll have a mask on. They'll have all the disinfectant stuff, lights going, the UV lights and all that. And then you can open those windows too, so it's outside. So it's going to be different. They'll pipe in noise. They may do virtual fans like the NBA.
Yeah.
But it's nothing like a fan base that it's gonna hurt everybody in all the sports, but it won't hurt anybody the most like a Green Bay Packer fan because they're the owners. They kept the team in the 20s to have these type of days, so it's gonna hurt a lot of people. Basically, hurt the Green Bay Packer fans.
Yeah. I have a question. I assume you've met Aaron Rodgers on multiple occasions. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever met Danica Patrick? I think they're not together, but they were. Did you ever meet her?
No, I never met her in person. No.
I always had a wild thought. I feel like she always drove. Anytime.
You know, it's like when you see a chef cooking show, do you go home and you still cook?
Yeah.
I do all the cooking.
Yeah.
And I'm developing my cooking show now. And a guy asked me that, when you go home, do you cook? I said, yes. So I'm assuming, I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming that she would drive. Because I got into a debate with one of my interns at the radio station about 6-7 months ago. I said, she can outdrive anybody in this building. They were like, no, I can do it. I said, nope, she can outdrive any of you guys. Yeah. And they were getting all excited, like, no. I said, dude, it ain't even close.
That speed camera must get her 3 times a week. But it gets me. It got me. So I know she's like Lightning McQueen just flying down the highway. But no, that's interesting. I have a question. Who's the hardest player in your entire career to tackle?
Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders was like, if you were in the tub and you see a bar of soap, it's gone. Okay, I got it. It's gone again. That Barry Sanders is amazing.
Who's number 2? Was there a close second, or is it like a ways away?
Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith was like a bowling ball. He just run right through arm tackles.
That's wild.
One cut and go. I mean, Marshall Faulk was pretty tough too, but yeah, those guys. Barry Sanders, you just couldn't find him, man. Just couldn't.
Who's the best DB in the league today, in your eyes?
Defensive back.
Yeah.
Ooh. Let me see here. I say Stephon Gilmore and out there with the Patriots. I like Lattimore as well.
Yeah.
Those guys, and the kid White from Buffalo.
Oh, Tre'Davious. Yeah, I saw he's playing this year too.
Yeah, that those are shutdown type guys. You know, and I think you can, you know, the Packer secondary got a bunch of young guys.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll be on that national stage, the Jair Alexanders and Kevin Kings one of these days. But those guys, you put them on your best guy, and whatever happens, happens.
Were you surprised when they took Jordan Love?
Shocked. I was. I just didn't. I mean, everybody was. Because the media was telling us that this is the best receiver draft in 25 years.
Yeah.
And I was thinking maybe a little bit outside the box. I wanted the kid from Oklahoma, the middle linebacker.
Oh,
Murray. I think
Murray. He was in the Chargers, I think. He was in the Chargers.
Yes, he went to the Chargers. And I wanted him because you got to stop the run when you play San Francisco.
Yeah.
So when they didn't choose him, I said, well, you know, in that to Green Bay's defense, they want a quarterback when Aaron leaves that they can showcase and run the kind of offense they want to run. It's a run-oriented offense.
Yeah.
And yeah, everybody was shocked. I mean, I thought it was a dream. Like, okay, they didn't need a quarterback. You're one game away from the Super Bowl. And when I heard Aaron talk about how shocked he was, then, you know, it is what it is at this point. You know, in 2 or 3 years, you'll see Jordan Love taking over. Aaron Rodgers probably playing somewhere else.
Yeah, it's wild. That's wild. That's interesting. And I have a question. So when did you kind of know you were ready to retire?
You know what? I tell you, after my 10th season, I say I probably play either till they don't want me anymore and they send these signs out. But I said, if I could play 10 years, I'm golden, I'm good. I got to my 11th year. The team still wanted me, my 12th year, and that's when I broke my shoulder. I broke my shoulder, and it just caused me to not to be as strong. So I said, I'm in my 12th year, my shoulder's broken, to rehab it, to get it back up to that level will be hard. That's when I just shut it down. I said, it's time now. Because it was a horrific injury. It was broken 3 spots. I mean, the scapula, you know, you put your hand behind your back and that bone stick out, it was all shattered. So, yeah. But I had a great career, though. I really did. And the one thing I'm proud about my career, all of them are at one football card, green and white jerseys. Hey. You don't see that very much.
No.
Did any of talking about Aaron Rodgers, with him and Brett Favre, you know, played for a few more of the teams. Yeah. And now Aaron may have to play for another team. So it's very rare.
Did any other teams try to poach you, or were you like, no, I'm done?
No, I was done. I told my agent when I was working out, he said, I can get you. I said, nah, if it ain't with the Packers, I don't want to do it. Nah, I want to 12 years is enough.
You still got that jacket that guy gave you on the plane?
No, that's a good question. When we got back to this thing, the team heard about it, and the couple goes to the pro shop, and they gave them. They just wanted to kind of see what was going on, and they gave him like a really nice jacket.
Oh, cool.
And the Packers wrapped it back up. They washed. We got our own washer and dryer. They washed it and packaged it and gave it back to him, and gave him a new jacket for him and his wife.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no one's never asked me that. Yeah.
That's wild. That's wild. Yeah. And I have a question. What the hell is Canton waiting on? Because I saw you had you as a finalist. What's going on?
Well, I'll tell you what. When I first was a semifinalist, I was excited. Yeah. I really was. And then last year, I was a semifinalist for 5 or 6 years, I think. I don't know. Last year, being a finalist, I said to myself, God is good. That means one day I will get in. I just don't know when.
Yeah.
Because I said they don't go by the numbers. I don't know what they go by, but I would be the only guy, if I'm correct, that's on an all-decade first team that's not in the Hall of Fame.
Really?
Steve Atwater, it was me and Steve Atwater, but he went in.
Yeah.
So now I'm the only guy. It's almost like they forgot I was here. Like, hello. I mean, so hopefully, because they got so many guys going. I think Manning.
Yeah.
I think Charles Woodson. I mean, they're going to go back to the original 5 guys. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell they're going to do.
Hopefully it'll be soon, though. So I'm excited.
Definitely. Well, this has been a ton of fun. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat for a little bit. And then for people that aren't people that aren't following you on social media, how can they find you easily?
You can find me Leap 36. L is in Larry, E is in Edward, A is in Apple, P is in Paul 36, Leap 36 on Twitter. Instagram is official _ LeRoy Butler. Facebook, Leap 36. I think I'm the most accessible guy that ever played for the Packers. So people pretty much know who I am. It's been a pleasure, though. I like doing, like I told you before we start recording, that I like doing stuff a little bit different. I think people need to see you on different platforms, not always on the big guys. I mean, help the other guys along. Yeah. So I've been doing quite a few of those lately.
Dan Patrick gets enough people. He's good.
Yeah, they got
millions
of people.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. Yeah, but this has been a ton of fun. Really appreciate it. Definitely love to have you back again during the season, talk Packers, but this has been a blast, man. Really appreciate it.
All right, my brother. Take care. Maybe when I get in the Hall of Fame, we'll do it again.
Yeah, I'll come. I'm trying to get a jacket. I heard this wild thing about the jackets that I think is so interesting. Apparently, the color of the jacket is some dye that's not in the color spectrum, so nobody can make a fake.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's like the only.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's the only jacket fact I know, but it's a good one to know. So but it can't wait. I can't wait. But it's been a ton of fun, man. So we're going to thank you again.
Thanks so much, Zach. You take care, my brother. Have a good day.